Good morning, and welcome to another episode of A Conversation with Father Orsi. I'm B.C. Cloutier, Chairman of Action for Life, and this is Father Michael Orsi. Oh, boy.
I learn a lot from the kids. Maybe I'm in my second childhood, folks. I don't know. You get that way sometimes,
How are you, Father?
Well, I'm great, as far as I know. unless you see something that I don't.
This morning, I wanted to talk about adoption as an alternative to abortion. As you well know, Action for Life is very supportive of adoption as an alternative to abortion. And we have fielded many inquiries, and in fact, we have been instrumental in putting some adoptive families together with babies that a mother could not care for.
Right, we just had an adoption opportunity, right? And went through us and we even provided an attorney, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it was one of the pregnancy centers had a client that was on the fence, didn't want an abortion, didn't think she could keep the child. Action for Life got involved, and we got an attorney involved who had an adoptive mother and father, and it's all come together.
Yeah. Folks, you'd be surprised how many people want babies.
Yeah.
They'll come to me all the time, Father, can you get me a baby? I'm not in the black market here. but and you know what? You ask them, say, well, do you have any questions regarding, do you want a boy? Do you want a girl? Do you want a baby who is white, Anglo? Do you care if the baby is mixed race? Father, we'll take anything. And I'll tell you, sometimes it even comes to me, this is really, it's just such an emotional moment in my life when they say, Father, we'll even take a child that has a handicap or a disability. And wow, they are so desperate to share the love they have with someone else. So let me tell you, folks, quite honestly, there's a place for every child. If you have a child or thinking of adopting a child, know that there are opportunities, and maybe we can put them in touch with some of these opportunities.
I was going to say, Father, if you are carrying a child and you're not certain that you can care for that child, or on the other side, if you are a loving family that would love to adopt a child, in either instance, actionforlife.org, get in touch with us. Hopefully we can help you. And part of what we do is facilitating these kinds of things. We are in the business of saving babies, as well as other sanctity
and
rights issues.
The child, as I said, the child is wanted. Color, disability, whatever you want to call it. There is a home for that child. Remember, Mother Teresa got involved a lot of it, with people who didn't want to give birth to a child. They had no way of taking care of the child, and Mother Teresa would say, "Give the child to me."
Right.
I'll tell you a great story. This is a true story. A couple of years ago, a woman came to the office, and she wanted to see me. And so the parish secretary told me, a lady wants to see you. And she was of Hispanic extraction, so the English wasn't perfect, but and neither was my Spanish. But I had one of the parish secretaries stay with me. And the woman said she's pregnant. And they found out that the child, through sonogram, they found that the child had some kind of a disability. As a matter of fact, it was a disfiguration. One of the limbs was not perfect. Of the child was not perfect. The woman said to me, well, my husband doesn't want the baby, and he wants me to have an abortion. All right? She came to the right place. You go to your priest or you go to your minister, if they're pro-life and rabbi. Well, yeah, you came to the right place. Your husband, he's not right on this. So I said to her, you tell your husband that I want to see him. So she said, oh, he won't come. I said, then you tell him this, that Father Orsi said he'll take the baby. So she looked at me like, I said, you tell him that I want the baby. So my secretary, Rosa, we talked about Rosa before. She lost a son, a young, handsome fellow, intelligent son, because of a bed ventilator system in a B&B or something like that.
Airbnb.
Yeah, one of those, yeah.
Yeah.
And so the woman went away, and I didn't see her again. She came back after she had the baby, and she said, look, here's the baby. Showed me beautiful, beautiful baby. I mean, you could hardly tell. Maybe the hand was a little bit, of the arm a little bit disfigured, but not, nothing that you'd say, oh, it's horrible. A little problem with the hand, the arm. You had to look, and you could see it. Anyway, time passes by, and they had an older child who was receiving First Communion. And the parents, the mother and the father, come to First Communion for the older brother. The mother comes over to me with the baby, and the husband is with her. Now, I had never seen the husband.
Right.
And she said, Father, do you remember me? I said, yeah. She says, look, here's the baby. Look how big he's grown. So I said to the father, is this the one you want to give me? No. I love it. He takes the baby. He says, no, I love him. Thank you. I love him. You see, folks.
Yeah.
He loved the kid, with his whole heart, and he was embracing him, and he was so grateful. Thank you. I love this son that God has given me. And although, these sonograms and tests might say, no, this is not the perfect child. Look, let's face it. None of us is perfect. Except me. But none of us. And when it comes to sometimes physical disabilities, even mental disabilities, there's a purpose for everything. And that purpose is known to God. And that person, that child, is a vehicle of God's grace. So there is a place for every child. And when you go and they say, well, the child's not just right, you should abort. The answer is no, right? And that's no, right? Or you say, but she's so young, and she can't take care of the child. Why should it ruin her life? Folks, the answer is you're not going to ruin somebody's life. You can ruin somebody's life if you abort the child. There'll be regrets forever. And I'll tell you another great story. See, Father O has been around a long time, right?
That we know.
Oh! All right. Here's a story that I was told. There's a doctor. He's since passed away, and he came from a place called Chicago, but he lived down here, in his retirement, and he had a young girl come to his office one day. She said, I don't feel good. I'm feeling sick. Maybe she was about 16 or 17 years old, right? And he of course, he examined her. He said to her, well, honey, the reason why you're not feeling good, the reason why you feel so sick is because you're pregnant. She was like surprised. So she says, I got to have an abortion. My father will kill me.
That's familiar.
Yeah. Oh,
You
yeah.
hear that again and again. Yeah.
So the doctor said, no, your father's not going to kill you. Now, let me just tell you who her father was. He was the local Don.
Ooh.
All right? He was a local Don. He was like the godfather in this area in Chicago. And she kind of knew that her father, had this sense of honor. The Italians have a sense of honor. And she was afraid of him. My father will kill me. The doctor said, no, your father is not going to kill you. So he said to her, you go home. No abortion. I don't know. I'm going to have an abortion. I'm going to have an abortion. No. Go home. The doctor called up the father that night and said, I want to come over to see you. Yeah. And he goes and he visits the Don. And the doctor said to the Don, I want to tell you something. Your daughter came to my office today, and I have to tell you that, now this is before the HIPAA laws.
Right,
He just
yeah.
went and did what he had to do. Doesn't you have like a neighborhood doctor, family doctor? They know everybody, and they take care of the people.
And they did the right
They
thing.
did the right thing. And your daughter's afraid that you're going to kill her if you find out. Well, the old doctor went berserk. The
Don.
The Don.
Yeah.
The Don went berserk. Oh, she's embarrassing me, my whole family, the whole thing. You did this, and you're shaming me, blah, 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 blah. And the doctor says, calm down, calm down. This girl came to my office. She wanted to have an abortion. Abortion in those days was a crime. And it's a terrible sin against the law of God. He said to the Don, he said, Don, I think it was Corleone. He says, Don Corleone, let me tell you something. The child that your daughter is carrying is your grandchild. It could be a granddaughter. It could be a grandson. You're not going to kill her, and you're not going to kill the baby. The old Don calmed down, and a tear came to his eye. My grandchild. I'm not going to kill my grandchild. Okay? The girl had the baby. A number of years passed, and the old Don, he passed away. The doctor went to the funeral home to pay respects, and there was the girl, the daughter, and the granddaughter. My granddaughter by this time is about 18 years old.
Wow.
The mother of the girl, and the doctor could see the mother pointing to the doctor. And she went over to him and she says, I get all choked up. I hear that you saved my life, the life of my child. This is my daughter. And introduced the doctor to the granddaughter. And the doctor realized that child was indeed loved by the family. The Don's daughter eventually remarried. She was raised in the family and taken care of by her parents and grandparents. So you see, there are wonderful things that happen, and we have to understand that sometimes we have to intervene to show people what's right.
Especially
and
today.
The doctor did that. That doctor should be more doctors like that. Go ahead, break the HIPAA law. I don't care. Well, I'm not getting sued. You are.
Well, but they're breaking the Hippocratic Oath, right? Do no harm.
Right.
We don't want to go there because we don't want to unload on
but
doctors
the
today.
Hippocratic Oath would say, first of all, do no harm, but also there is with HIPAA laws, with a privacy between doctor and patient.
Which comes from the AIDS crisis.
Right.
And I understand why at that time HIV sufferers did not want that disclosed.
Right.
But as usual, they used the cudgel to deal with what was a relatively narrow issue. But we're going to take a break, and we'll be back right after this. Join us March 22nd at the beautiful Vineyards Country Club for our annual Spring for Life luncheon. It's the 50th anniversary of the founding of Action for Life. Our featured speaker for this year's celebration luncheon is Sister Mary Gabriel, a member of the Sisters of Life. Sisters of Life is a religious community founded by John Cardinal O'Connor and dedicated to the protection and enhancement of the sacredness of human life. Please mark your calendar, 11:30 a.m., March 22nd, as Action for Life celebrates 50 years of dedication to the sanctity of life. Seating is limited, so get your tickets today at actionforlife.org. But for the moment, I'd like to talk to you about the expense of airing this program. You know, many people don't realize how expensive it is to produce this program and to get it on the air. Would you care to guess? It's about $3,000 per week. We think that's a reasonable expenditure, but obviously it's an expensive one. So we need to ask for your help. If you'll go to actionforlife.org and click on the donate button, it would be greatly appreciated. Now, you can donate once or you can donate each month, and we certainly have viewers who do both. We appreciate that. Please take time now to visit actionforlife.org and click on the donate button. Thank you so much for your support, and may God bless you always. Welcome back to A Conversation with Father Orsi. I'm B.C. Cloutier. Father, we're talking about adoption as an alternative to abortion today. By the way, some pro-choice people don't think that adoption is a viable alternative.
Oh, sure, you'd rather be dead.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
Because maybe the child wouldn't have the best of circumstances.
Oh, yeah, but off dead. Yeah. I mean, these people need a checkup from the neck up. That's a technical term. Get out of here.
You know, there are so many options for a woman facing an unwanted or unexpected pregnancy. Now, I understand, as you were talking about the young girl, right? Panic because it's truly unexpected. But, let's talk about maternity homes. Sunlight Home, which we're very supportive of, will take women in who are pregnant, who choose to carry their child to term, and who choose to keep their child.
Right.
In most instances. I guess there are some adoptions.
Yeah, I mean, at Sunlight, there are a few. Well, I know of anyway, that gave the child up for adoption. They have what they call open adoptions these days, where they know who their birth mother is, and the birth mother can go visit the child and keep in touch, as long as they want to keep in touch. I mean, I don't know. I mean, that's a question that a lot of people bring up to me. Is it a good idea? Well, whether it is a good idea or not, that's what the law is these days. That people have a right to know where they came from.
Well, and most adopted children at some point want to know their natural parents.
Yeah.
They may not want a relationship. I know of two instances of adopted people. One met her birth mother and after a few meetings said, I've seen enough. And I got medical history, which was important. The other really bonded with her birth father and has stayed in touch since the discovery, which is several years now. So, I mean, it goes both ways. I think it's up to the adoptive parents and the natural parents to determine what they think is best for the child.
Right, yeah. So there are different ways of handling an adoption. We used to have way back private adoptions where you could have somebody that was having a baby and they come to the doctor or even the parish priest and they could negotiate an adoption, legal adoption that way.
Well, there were a lot of Catholic birth homes.
Sure. Oh, yeah. Yeah. And, I think that that's something that we have to look into again. I really do. Maternity homes, we would call them. And there are women who sometimes maybe their family doesn't even want them, or they don't have a good environment. Look, we've had little girls, 13, 14 years old, pregnant. And
Yeah.
they don't have a stable home themselves. And then, of course, for them, adoption is not the option. They think it's only abortion
Right.
is their option. But if we could provide an environment for them where they can have the child, and in that environment have instruction for them regarding options. The option would be you can have the child and keep the child, have the child, or put the child up for adoption. That's a wonderful thing that the person can make that kind of a choice. Now, there's also other things that go on in a maternity home. There is, I would hope, a faith-based foundation for the home, how somebody could, come to know God, come to know Jesus, to help them get through the rest of their life. Also, to help them learn some skills that they don't have.
Financial literacy,
Yeah, financial parenting skills,
parenting skills, job skills.
homemaking skills. All of those things are so important. Now, I'm going to say this, folks, and I want you to take it in the sense that I mean it. Sometimes a young girl will find herself pregnant, and then she might decide to keep the child because she's getting some help from the government. And then you say, well, if I give the child up, I'm going to lose this support. And that might say to them, well, I don't want to give the child up for adoption because I'm getting this money now and I can take care of myself and I can take care of the child. Mother is getting support, child's getting support. My experience is it's usually not enough.
Yeah, it's relative nickels and dimes.
Yeah, it's usually not enough. And I think that maternity homes have to at least present in a very positive way the alternative of adoption. It also gives the young mother, but indeed a young girl, an opportunity to get her life back together again and then move on with her life without worrying about taking care of a baby.
I think it's important to note that, and I'm using Sunlight Home because we have a close working relationship, that the mother does not check out as soon as the baby's born.
Right.
They stay there for a period of time with their child as they're learning these life skills, as they're adjusting to a new life. Because let's face it, when you become a parent, it is a new life.
Yeah. And also, there is the possibility of a woman that decides she's going to give up the child and gives up the child, right after birth, and the child goes home with the new set of parents. So there are many, many ways to do this, but it takes a lot of patience and guidance with those who are working with these pregnant women who themselves, sometimes they're children themselves.
Yeah.
And, their maturity level, their reasoning skills, practical skills, they aren't just there yet. So I don't know if adoption is being pushed enough these days.
Well, I have to say these young women that choose to have a baby, whether it's going to be adopted or whether they're going to rear that child, that is a really courageous decision.
Right.
And they should be applauded.
Yeah. Yeah. I have a cousin, well, he's almost 60 years old now, but he was adopted. And in those days, I said we had a private adoption. And he was born, and his mother worked at the hospital, and his mother was friends with the head nurse at the hospital. The woman came in, said, I don't want the child, but that's before abortion became legal in New York, and thank God, and got a couple of lawyers involved. And, well, I have a wonderful cousin, and I was talking to him just recently. He eventually met his birth mother, and, they do this Ancestry 21 what is Ancestry 23?
Well, wait a minute, you're talking about two different things. There's Ancestry.com, and there's the DNA thing, 123, whatever it's called.
Well, one of those things. And one of his blood relatives found out that he was related to him somehow.
23andMe is
23andMe, related to him somehow. And through that, and he was in his late 40s when this happened, he got to meet his birth mother and his brothers and sisters. And he found out also that his parents, birth parents, they eventually married. And he had brothers and sisters. But it worked out. I mean, my family was blessed, with this, great guy. And then he gets to meet his real siblings. I mean, DNA and all that stuff said blood brothers and sisters, and his mother, birth mother, and it just worked out. It worked out beautifully. So adoption can be a wonderful thing for everybody involved in it, and the extended family too. We didn't even know he was adopted for. I mean, I knew because I was older. The other cousins didn't even know. The only thing that was a little bit suspicious is, we're Italians from southern Italy. A giant is somebody like me, 5'10". He was 6'4", and the rest of us.
We're about to finish up here, but DNA is just marvelous science, isn't it?
It really is.
These people are discovering their ancestors based on DNA.
Right.
Maybe we'll do a talk about that sometime, but we're about finished today. Do you have any final thoughts?
Yeah, you talked about, DNA. I want to talk about this someday. I went for blood test and I had a broken gene. But they thought I had some kind of a rare blood disease. But I felt good, and they sent me to this oncological institute or something like that, and they took a bone sample and the whole thing, and I'm saying like I'm dead. I think I'm dead. And then it comes back, and it says that he's basically normal. something like that. I'm flattered by that. And then it says, but he has a broken gene, which he inherited from Ireland or Wales.
I'll be.
And so I got this Irish gene floating around in me somehow. And I called up my sister. I said, hey, Marie, that's my sister, Marie. I said, I got this Irish gene. They said I have a broken gene. It goes from Ireland and Wales. And she said to me, well, we always knew there was something different about you.
Thank you for joining us. That's a wrap for this week. Please join us again next week. Same time, same place. Until then, I'm BC Cloutier, wishing you a great week and God bless. Join us March 22nd at the beautiful Vineyards Country Club for our annual Spring for Life luncheon. It's the 50th anniversary of the founding of Action for Life. Our featured speaker for this year's celebration luncheon is Sister Mary Gabriel, a member of the Sisters of Life. Sisters of Life is a religious community founded by John Cardinal O'Connor and dedicated to the protection and enhancement of the sacredness of human life. Please mark your calendar, 11:30 a.m., March 22nd, as Action for Life celebrates 50 years of dedication to the sanctity of life. Seating is limited, so get your tickets today at actionforlife.org.